Good evening, everybody, and welcome. It is April Fool's Day, the day before Good Friday. We have Easter Sunday coming up. I hope everybody's got plans with their loved ones all sorted out. Let's see. Tonight we're going to talk. It's a live share show, so of course we're going to have everybody who wishes to come join and share what's going on with you in your world. And also I want to talk about from the 5th, can we fall to the 3rd? And that's a topic for discussion because so many of us are seeing things that have happened, way back when, coming back into our notices, so we don't repeat the same mistakes. And I also want to talk about the higher realms, or, in the biblical sense, it would be the hierarchy that we know of in the angelic realm, different, how we look at like the 5th and the 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 12th, to whatever level of. And we may call them something different today. Maybe the 7th realm beings are called Pleiadians. But in the biblical sense, they're known to us as angels. And once you hit a certain point in your evolution, do you fall? Can you fall? Are you able to be malevolent or are you benevolent? And how do we find out such things? Maybe see, or I could see the chat and say hello to everybody that's here. Hi, Doc Michaels and Surfer Girl, what's up? Or whatevs. I like that. Inner Knowing and Jennifer Kilsting, Dead GPK, and Sherry Burskick. Welcome. So when we think about any kind of civilization, even in history, modern history, we can just look at any of these great empires that are even taught to us in regular school. They rise and they fall. They rise and then they fall. So what happens in these, what we would consider like a first-rate civilization, where they would get to a pinnacle point and then all of a sudden lose the grip and fall, to fall to a different status. Well, we need to think of what is shown to us in the physical happens in the spiritual. We're spiritual beings and physical beings simultaneously, dual by nature, being half spiritual, half physical, as we occupy, two realms of existence simultaneously. So that is a way of looking at it in the realm of, seeing it in the natural. On these civilizations, we can look at the Roman Empire and Caesar, and then what happened. Caesar, everything was going great. It was a peaceful period, prosperous for all. And then they had their council, and their gatherings. And so there really wasn't, although it was like Caesar was considered to be the head of this, when we study it, he's like the figurehead. But really, it was a council that met together, and each, representative there represented a certain group of people, yada, yada, yada. But then what happens is a power struggle happens. Others want to have that absolute power over others, and it comes to nothing. The place ends up being destroyed. We can look at this could be mythological or actual. Alexander the Great. He went through and, absorbed and conquered land, based on the myths that we hear. But see, when he would go and he would conquer the land, he would actually go ahead and leave the residing royalty in charge of that area. It was almost like that as he would go into these places, it would be a protection that he would offer. He didn't come in to change the landscape or the makeup. He just came in, and we call it conquering, but it expanded, and he expanded the kingdom in which that, the period of his life, which was very short. And, because we know how either the myth or whether it's history, I don't know. We know how that ended. And when he passed without a successor, he was, his wife was actually with child, based on the myth. And the men who served under, like his first lieutenants, or which would be his council, fought over, the areas and divided it up, which then made that empire crumble into naught. So as soon as power enters in, or absolute power over other sovereign beings comes into play, it seems as if the empires fall of their own weight. When we're led by a benevolent that's not wanting to change the landscape or ideals or oppress the individual, we prosper. But when we get a harsh taskmaster, or somebody that's wanting to control or usurp, other beings, it crumbles. So when we look at other realms of existence, now I'm not going to say the earth is flat or the earth is round. I'm going to say, based on observations that I have, seeing the same stars in the sky, night after night, year after year, breaking the seasons up, in almost like a marching order, that if we were just throwing this out there, if we were whirling around through space, going, and wouldn't the landscape of the stars change for us to some degree or another? Why would we be able to gaze upon the same stars in the sky night after night, season after season? So, with that said, do I think we're zooming aimlessly through the galaxies or I don't know. I don't know how to put it in that perspective. I don't know. I can only go by my observations, and my observations tell me from the landscape of the stars in the sky that I don't feel that we're just going aimlessly through the sky. It's not like that for me. Now, when we're talking about other realms of existence, we're talking about fifth. We're talking about mankind as a whole, and this is not the first time that we've had an evolutionary type event happen. We've evolved, several times. Looks a little chaotic, but then poof, we pop, and then we are, into that next evolutionary strain of living, which is from going from third into fifth. When we think about Atlantis and Lemuria, now how it's represented to us through the planetary alignment, which would just be a representation. Not saying they're planets, I'm saying it's a representation that we can observe. There is an asteroid field now where it looks like there could have possibly been a fifth realm in existence, or a fifth planet that separates Saturn from Jupiter. And anybody could look this up and find out this information, or even look with your telescope and see that there is now this asteroid field that is on a perfect orbit, that just keeps going round and round. And, where did it come from? Well, when we're in the fifth, we think that it's going to be such a transformation. With the transformation, how I understand it is going to be is there will be less suffering. There will be less duality. There still will be duality in the nature of how we understand it from the third density realm. So in fifth, going into fifth is an evolutionary step, but not quite to like the seventh, where we've overcome wanting power over each other. And how do you know that when you're talking to other beings, or let's say somebody says they have communication with the Pleiadians or the Actarians or the Blue Avians, and they say they're from the ninth realm. Okay, I look at that as the rankings of the angelics, and the angelics, we've been told, they have ranks, they have status. You can't get past into the next realm or go into the seventh unless you're so thoroughly transparent and easy. It's easy to see any guile or any type of malicious motivations. You won't even go there. You cannot go there. You can't exist there. It's so transparent, and the further that you go, the more and more translucent we become. So the purity, your light, really starts to shine and shine and shine and shine, because there's no guile. Now, in the fifth, the lost continent of Atlantis, lost continent of Lemuria, where it's just a third broke off. And food for thought. I'm going to bird walk for a moment, if you guys don't mind. If it was the third, okay, hypothetically. All right. They all started out 100% all on the continent of Lemuria, because they had to be separated from the civilizations that were here, that were on their own evolutionary track. All right. So they were on their own evolutionary track, while some of the others came and occupied their own continent, and to evolve back and work off their karmic debt. All right. If it's a third, what do you guys think? What do you guys think is going on in Antarctica? I'm not just going to blurt it out. What's going on in Antarctica? What do you guys think is going on in Antarctica? Why is it such a peace treaty that is so taboo that nobody will mess with it? Nobody will mess with it. So what's going on with the beings in Antarctica that nobody will even try to oppress, overt, or subvert? One third, maybe. I don't know. Sometimes things are hidden in plain sight. Just thought I would throw that out there. It's hypothetical, just curiosity. So anyways, when we're in the fifth, we're still dealing with duality. And if we've got the, within us, that we still think that what we want to experience and our way's the right way, and we'll oppress another to get our way, well, yeah, we could fall. Sure. Because fifth and third, it's a step. It's a huge step. But we could fall into the third, back to the third density, and then have to work our way back up. And if we work our way back up, and then we look at, and we see other civilizations amongst us that are not quite as evolved, and it's in our little pea-picking brain that we're going to go and use them for labor force, or oppress them in some way because of their innocence and not knowing any better. And we've got advanced technology, and we are a more advanced being. Well, I would call that falling. That's, you're falling, because it doesn't matter how civilized or uncivilized the culture is. Every being has the right to their evolution in their time, in their way of understanding, and the rights to move and be. It doesn't make them any less of a being based on the evolutionary track. And as you come into contact with seventh or ninth or 11th, 12th dimensional beings, first thing you'll notice is they never want you to bow, serve, or demand or command you or force you or try to oppress. Um, the experiences that I've had are this unconditional love. There's nothing nothing to be afraid of, basically, is what I'm saying. And whether we call them Pleiadians, Octarians, Blue Avians, or we call them archangels, or there's we know of in the scripture, it's pretty well known about Gabriel, Michael, and Raphael. Not much said about Metatron, and that came up in when I was doing session swaps with in the beginning when I became a Beyond Quantum Healer, and I was like, "Who the heck is Metatron? And why is he with me? What's this about?" And then, as I learned more about this being actually started as human and evolved and is in one of the hierarchies of the angelic beings. So is it possible? Because this also came up in my quantum healing session. Because that's one thing about Beyond Quantum Healing is you get into it and you think when you come out of it, you're like, I was awake the whole time, until you listen back to the recording and you're like, what? I don't know what the heck that is. And then the research begins. But it was spoken about the third density going into the fifth, and it was also spoken about that there are people occupying this space here and now with us, reaching 7th, 9th, 12th dimensional realm of being. That is their status of awareness. Although they come in and they're here on the physical as we see it as the 3D plane, but they have evolved to a level that is, and it's not a competition, you guys. It really is not. It's just a matter of, doing the inner work, and they've evolved far beyond where we're going as a whole, as mankind is moving into the fifth, into another conscious evolution period. And, it will be less heavy than third density. So look forward to that, you guys. Really, it is a lot less heavy in the fifth density than it is in the third. But there are those, like I said, that see into the unseen realm, into the 7th parallel or the 9th parallel or the 12th parallel. And a lot of the times when you talk to these people, some people will be like, you're just crazy, because it'll sound so crazy from the things that they're describing. But is it crazy? Or are we just, a little dull and not able to comprehend quite yet because we haven't allowed our consciousness to expand enough to comprehend these mysteries that are being revealed? It's just, it's an amazing time period to be alive for all of us. I mean, it's like, oh my goodness gracious, what a time as now. And we've been going through this for, some of us a few decades, but it's really, in the past decade has really taken an uptick. And the world stage looks crazy. And I'm going to throw the link in for StreamYard here in just 1 second. Let me explain something to you, and maybe this will help it make a little more, like a little better sense on why it looks like everything, just seems like everything keeps getting piled up, distraction, this, that, out in the world. Okay. You're a being of a higher nature. Put yourself in this position. Okay. You're a being of a higher, more evolved being, and you do not want to bow down to a lesser civilized being. Okay, you're like, no, I'm not going to bow down to them. Okay, what are you going to do when the beings that you didn't want to bow down to in the beginning are about to make a quantum jump and pass you? You're going to throw everything at it that you possibly can to avert and subvert and try to subjugate and hold back as many as you possibly can. But everything's free will and everything's choice. I just wanted for you to think about that, for just ponder that. When you're in you were out of place, you got moved because you made a mistake, you've earned things back, but you still got some problems going on with not looking at the other beings as equals. You wanted to oppress or whatever, so you haven't quite reestablished yourself, and they won't get higher or raise higher than the highest that they have achieved, because of the desires of your heart. They show, and if that's what the desires are, and then to see those beings that you didn't even want to bow down to move past you, it would be first of all, it's your own darn fault, okay? Because it doesn't matter what being that you are, fallen or evolving or whatever. We all have the same choices to make, and we can always change the agreements that we come in on and the contracts and all of these things. Nothing is set because of the sovereignty and free will that we each have when we come in. So if we are under a contract that we wanted to, and we came in saying we want to experience X, Y, and Z, but then we come in and we're like, I'm not too happy with what I'm experiencing right now. Well, renegotiate your contract. My goodness, you're sovereign. Do you not know that you have that right to do that? You do. You do. Let me put this link in, and then I'm going to into the StreamYard. For anybody who wants to come, oh, that's not what I want. What? Invite. Okay, hold on. To clipboard, into the StreamYard. And because this is a share show, and so we can share and grow together. And I'm going to share this. I took a few days away from the computer, kind of took a little break, a little time to myself. And of course, you know how it goes, you guys. We get message streams. We have a lot going on within our life. Things are happening. I was at this place, and it was like, I'm wanting to think it seemed like it was a yard sale, or maybe like, what do you call them, where they have those auctions, or where somebody's like liquidating all of the assets from the house or whatever. Everything must go kind of a thing, and you kind of you shop around, and then you pick up what it is that you want, and you gotta look at it. And what do they call those? You guys help me out with that. It's estate sales. That's Foxborough. That's close. Estate auctions, estate sales, liquidations. So I picked up these shoes. These shoes were really odd. I'm going to tell you, because since I got hit by the drunk driver and got my neck broke and T-spine and my lower back with the problems and all that, I've not worn any kind of heels at all. And I had just bought these awesome boots. They were on sale. I got these awesome boots. I was so happy. Never even got to wear them because they were. I'm not much of a high heel type of a person, anyways. But they were kind of a thick back heel that, and they were real comfortable. Never got to wear the boots because the crash happened, and it was just too much to put an arch, on my spine. Okay, so here's these shoes. They got like rainbow colors around the bottom. The platform in the front is at least, I don't know, 2 inches, and in the back it's almost like a foot. They kind of sit, and they're made out of all natural items. And then they had these straps that it was kind of like a sandal, open toe, covered over, and they're kind of like high platform thing, and they looked huge. I was like, these are not even going to fit. There's no way. And then they had these like little like leather things that kind of went up around like, and you kind of tied it. And in the little leather things, it had these stones, and which I figured out they were crystals. So I was like, wow, they're really cool. And then the person that's like running the sale, they're like, well, look, those are $300. I'm like, wow, $300, for a used pair of shoes that's way too big. And then the state person stood up and said, try them on. And I was like, try them on. Okay, I'll try them on, which was really weird because I know, and even then in my mind, I was like, I can't wear these, I cannot put this kind of shoe on. They will be uncomfortable and they'll cause trouble. I put the darn shoe on and it fit perfectly. And I don't know, and I walked in these shoes, and they, like I said, they were made of they're all natural, and they fit perfectly. And I actually walked better in these shoes than I did before putting these shoes on. And then the auction, whoever was handling the estate sale, says, well, the shoe fits, you must wear it, they are yours. And I was like, what happened to the $300? So I was like, it was a really bizarre, but see, I don't go astral and visit realms all the time. Sometimes I'll get message dreams to unravel later. I'm still pondering on this shoe thing. Because like I said, the shoe looked way too big when I looked at it. I'm like, this is like 2-3 sizes too big. But when I put them on, and I had every reason in the world to not put the shoes on, every reason. And then I did. I put them on, and it wasn't like I didn't feel threatened by this being. Let me kind of clarify that. It wasn't like you put the shoes on. No, it wasn't like that. It's like try the shoes on. It was a very loving being. It wasn't anything to be afraid of or anything like that. But it was really, really interesting. They were absolutely beautiful shoes, and like I said, I walked better than I walked in without with my comfortable shoes that I wear now in these shoes. So, anyways, the link is in there. Hi, Voynich. Knowing Fox Bear, Michael Fontaine. If I've missed anybody, let me know. I can't wait to see those shoes. Well, I mean, I don't know if it was like a parable, riddle, or something to like. It's time to step into something new. Sometimes, changing our shoes is a new direction or a new walk, or I mean, it could mean a whole bunch of different meanings. I mean, we never quite know. It's actually easier for me to see. Let me see if I can go on here and so that I can see easier here. And then, okay, so new shoes can represent all different things, but I found it interesting that they were crystals, stones that were, like they were, nicely placed, like perfectly placed around, and the ties kind of went around your leg, around your leg, and then kind of tied. It was like a sandal, and it was just. It's not something that I would wear. Not my taste, or they were so odd. But sometimes that's how you get a message across. It's got to be something so odd and so different, so you can understand a message is trying to be, relate to us. And we get better and better at, interpreting the things that are being said or the messages that are coming across to us over time. We know it's a work in progress, always a work in progress. So, yes, they do, Foxbear. We carry you everywhere. And our walk is very, very important. And it is about, how is our walk? Are we happy with our walk? Are we satisfied? I'm the type of person I'm never satisfied. I'm always still, digging, because I know, infinite and unlimited is infinite and unlimited. And just whenever I think, oh, I think I understand something, or I got mastery on something, then something else comes along and shows itself, that yet another mystery and another revelation unfolds. So to claim mastery of any of these amazing things going on, I kind of think is silly, especially coming from the third density realm, with knowing that there's so many different levels of awareness and of existence, and these different places that I've seen, each beautiful, each unique, each perfect in its own way. But I mean, no two even these realms are alike. And to get the concept around that, we're, able to toggle back and forth and go to these places is phenomenal. I mean, it's absolutely, wonderful. Now, as for like the baseline, getting somebody off the ground, yeah, there's many of us that can help get people off the ground and off the races, but it has to be through consent, it has to be through their choice. And then once they make the choice, the inner work begins. And then, because it's their choice, it's their sovereign right to be. And whatever it is that we are doing, or what we are experiencing and expanding into, on a quantum level, we do affect each other. And so on the quantum level, we're going to make a jump from 3 to 5. But 5 is not our ultimate goal. We're going to keep evolving. It's a process that, and like I said, there are beings amongst us walking here in this realm, this perspective with us now, that are operating in the 7th or the 9th or the 12th, and are able to achieve such ecstatic awareness that it's like, what? I better check StreamYard, huh? And see if, okay, nobody's popped in yet. Okay, good, because I was in the other place, and if somebody would have been in here, I would have felt so bad. Okay, I'm going to give you guys a few minutes to bounce in and share. This is a share show. Did I cover everything about can we fall from 5 to 3? And actually from 3, you can fall even lower. You can go down into, second, or, when you think about a fifth dimensional being falling, and we think about sometimes being troubled by beings, and a lot of times people will describe them as being like a fourth dimensional being. A 4D being would be a fallen 5D being. It's bothersome, troublesome. Shake it off and realize your sovereignty, and don't give it any attention or anything of you, because if you hold your power, if you hold your sovereignty, and you hold your power and your authority, and don't, and it's even in our verbiage, pay attention, right? If you pay it attention, you're paying your power over and giving it attention, giving it your power. Don't. There's nothing to fear ever, ever, because you're divine, you're sovereign, you're beautiful, you're perfect, everything. And there is no better than, less than. It's not gauged like that. It's not even viewed like that. And when you start to see through the perspective, when you visit these other realms, and you can see through the eyes of how things are perceived from those other realms, it gives us it changes our heart, changes, the renewing of the mind, our heart, because We don't look and with judgment or condemnation upon another. We look at each other with wonder, excitement, and love in each moment, watching each of us achieve, grow, and make these beautiful choices. And every little thing that we do, every little thing, the things that we don't even think about, that we do, random acts of kindness that you don't even give a second thought to, bring tears to their eyes because it's so beautiful, because you're doing it just by your nature. It's just happening. It's just a part of you. Your heart is shining through, and you come off as a brilliant light in these little moments that we think nothing about. I mean, we just go on about our day and just, but my goodness, when we make a mistake, we beat ourselves up for days, day in and day out. We will, hold the guilt. And that's where, when we're holding those kind of energies within ourselves, that we need to be careful, because those kind of energies, when we hold them in ourselves, they cause blockages or dis-ease within us, disharmony, gets us out of balance, and things of that nature. Now, things are going to happen in life that are going to break our heart. It's going to knock us up off our feet. It's pretty normal. But how do we get back up? That's what matters. That's what counts. Where's your heart? Where's your heart? Where's your heart? We got Jonas back in the house, dropping wisdom bombs on us. It says we shall expel demons, and our body and our mind and all diseases are demons. Ishtar and Lilith, and Ishtar, Isis, Lilith, in your face, Christomosis. We learn revolutionize our lives by helping to clean out our temple. And where's our temple? Is our temple. Our temple, the one that we're responsible for, the one that we walk around in, that is our temple. This is, and then we've got another form of temples here. And before I take this short break and give you guys some time to pop in, John Benny, I had my day wrong. Okay. I thought he was coming on with me on Tuesday at noon, but it was actually supposed to be Wednesday at noon. But when he didn't, I got so worried about him too. I was like, because I just spoke to him at like 20 minutes after 11, and we were supposed to go on at noon, and then he disappeared. But it's next Wednesday for sure. And that's why I'm kind of going into this topic, because what he's coming on to present, it is all about walking in the fifth dimension and transitioning into the fifth dimension. So I'm just like brushing into, how we can see the different levels of understanding what could be, considered an alien today, could have been an angel of yesterday. And I don't ever take that off the table, and the levels of understanding and the evolution and, Metatron. If you I've never heard of Metatron. If you're like me, I was like, and you look in and you find out he was human, started out just like us, and has managed to make it up into, I really don't even know what level of reality that he functions from. But I know that, whether it's 7th, 9th, 12th, and above, that you're able to toggle at the speed of thought. You can be there, here, you can be present in multiple locations, bilocation, trilocation, quadlocation. And moving at the speed of thought is so fast that you can move about your being so quickly that it can feel and seem like you've got your guardian angel standing with you 24/7, when reality is for them that they're over there also, and then they're over there, and then they're here, and they're helping this person, this person, this person. But speed of thought it blows our mind, because we're not quite ready to wrap our mind around the concept of what the speed of thought actually means. We still don't have the constants for the speed of light, let alone the speed of thought. And how fast our mind goes. and it's always going. Okay, now I'm going past what our brain does. Our brain, shoots off those electrons, at a certain, speed, which is very, very fast. Tick tock tock, fast. Okay, but when I'm talking about our mind, I'm talking about our consciousness, and our consciousness is expanded out. It's not, between our ears. And the speed of thought has to do with consciousness, and it works on such a level of accuracy and speed that is beyond the comprehension from looking at it from this perspective. Okay, I'm going to play something let me put the link in there one more time for you guys. Anybody wants to come in and share. I want to, dreams, visions, observations, perspectives, what's going on in your neighborhood. You want to play a song, you want to anything. This is your share show. This is about you and what you want to bring to the table. And this will give me a chance to, while I'm playing this, to check out what you guys have been saying in the chat. Make sure I haven't missed anything. Let's see what I put in here for you. Oh, yeah, I put this one.
I'm a cop, and you will respect my
Say what? Say what? Say what?
Okay. I hope you guys got a good kick out of that, laugh tracks. And, humor is always the best medicine to get through any trying time. Find something that makes you smile, it makes you happy. And while we wait to see if anybody wants to come in and share, let's talk about some different things that are going on within us that can help us to understand maybe what kind of a modality, that we could get into to help our brothers and sisters, in this path as they choose to move along. A lot of us go through the stage of empathy, where you're able to pick up the energies and stuff around you and feel a bit of what's going on with our brothers and sisters. And that helps us in a couple of ways. Number one, it helps to rebalance out the equality and helps us to understand that there's no less than or greater than, that we're in this together as, as brothers and sisters, and brings that love about. And also having the empathy kick in within us is the beginning of a gifting that is within to start us off on a path of being passively working our way into healing modalities. And with healing modalities, you're able to then give relief to people and help them, clear up, get a clearer path or a clearer understanding of whom they are within. So, I know that when empathy kicks on, and we begin to feel everything that's going on around us, it's hard. I mean, it's very difficult to even do daily chores when, you need to run some simple errands and you go in someplace and you can feel what's going on in everybody. It's like, it could be overwhelming at times until we can kind of get a grip on that and get the second portion. So, but each step of it is important because each step teaches us more and we expand from what we learn from each step, even as the portions come across. Because if we were all of a sudden just kicked on as a healer, so to speak, without going through the steps of empathy and understanding, we may get an idea in our mind that we're chosen, selected, and special, which we do kind of go through that in the very, 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 very beginning of the walk. and but as time goes on, the equality, uniqueness of each of us comes into our awareness, and that new understanding comes in, and empathy plays a big part of equaling out and bringing balance into our brothers and sisterhood that we all are in this. But so that is, if something like that is going on in your life, you may be getting tuned up, tooled up to go into that kind of a field. And, that field has made quantum jumps from having to be on location with the individual to now being able to deal remotely. And I think we're about to make another quantum leap in that regard of how we're able to exchange energy and take upon what a healer does. And I read in the chat that somebody said they walked 2 miles barefoot the other day. I call that earthing. And it is a way of grounding out back into the earth, any kind of energies that we may have picked up that may see, because energy is neutral. By nature, it's neutral until we put the intention, and then it goes into motion, and then it manifests out. Then we experience it, and then we grow from that experience. Sometimes, people can get angry and they'll send out energy with intentions, and when somebody picks that energy up or it's directed at them, it can cause, like I said, disharmony or dis-ease or things like that, dysfunction within their being, blockages and things of that nature. And then the healer comes in and pretty much absorbs those types of energies onto themselves. And earthing was the way that I used to purge, and I would just go out, meditate, and barefoot in the grass, or swim in the water, grounding out into a natural substance, and purge out the energies. Well, and then I went into transmuting, and then when I learned how to transmute, then I was transmuting it, and then putting the intentions and thinking I was like giving it a hug and a kiss with a new directive. And then now I'm to the point I've have enough energy of my own. As we breathe in and we breathe out, we are sending out intentions, we are sending out thoughts, we are sending out energy. Energy is constantly in motion. Why should I absorb energy from another and then replace it with that shiny light and clean them up, or clean them out, or bring them the relief that they have come for, and then put my own intentions behind the energy as I'm transmuting it? So now what I do is I just send it back out as a neutral and allow it just to flow. And then where it goes, it's picked up and it flows, because we each have enough. We have enough going on within us that we have an abundance to share. We actually, oh my gosh, I know this gentleman. This has been so long. Welcome.
What's good? How you doing?
How are you? How are you? I've missed you.
Oh yeah, same here. I've been all right. I've been popping in and out, listening and paying attention to your streams and things. And you're doing
Thank
it. You're
you.
doing your thing. Yeah.
It's just chugging along. I'm just gonna do what I can do, and like say, I say it over and over. It's choice. It's always choice. I'm gonna come off camera. I'm gonna look just like you. See? Yeah, we're both little icons. but it's choice and sovereignty. We rule and reign over one, which is self, and we're there for each other when we make the
Right.
the determination and choice. So this is about you. It's your share. Catch me up. It's been a while.
Yeah. And so I just released a stream on the 28th with this lady named Malia, and we had we had my life on there. You know my life, DIY.
Yes, I've met her.
Okay, so yeah, she's the guest on that particular stream, and that was recorded on the 28th. So whoever goes to my channel right now, they will see it on my homepage. I'll post my channel in the chat. There it is. And enjoy
I
yourself.
have noticed. I have noticed that you have been posting more, and that makes me really, it gladdens my heart. It really does, because I have noticed that you have been more active. Now on Twitter, I don't get those messages. I won't. But you know how to direct contact me, so that way. But I've got you set to notifications, so I know when you post.
Oh, okay, cool. So you definitely know about the clips that I post from other streams that I've been on. And so, yeah, I definitely want to just keep content of the dog seen it too, I guess, huh?
I'm muted. I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that.
That's all good. The dog is chiming in. So I agree with the dog said. The channel is very, very great in my in my opinion. No, I just try to do my best I can, in my learning of who I am or what I am, I guess, as far as spiritually, and to understand my environment more, people around me, people I conversate with, and just we can all share our experiences, and you already know how I do. So yeah, thank you for having it set
Yeah,
to
but there's
notifications.
people. There are people that are here that have not yet met you. So can you tell a little bit about some experiences so that they can get to know you just a little bit better? They don't know you as well as I
Okay.
do.
Okay, so I've had out of body experiences. I do. Okay, so can I ask you? Can I start it off by asking you a question? This will be
You like to
interesting.
do that. You just love to do that. Go ahead. I
All right.
already know you're like, I like to ask questions, and then I'll ask them again and again, and then I'm gonna wait to see if it's a different answer, and then I know. So that, yeah. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
yeah. All good. So
Yeah,
yeah. So let me ask you: do you believe in God?
absolutely.
Okay. Do
I
you
don't
have
think
a
there's
best
anything
friend?
outside of God. Do you?
Right, but it's followed up by another question. My fault on that.
Oh,
I meant to say two. There's a couple of questions in one. So you believe in God? Okay. So
mhm.
do you have a best friend?
I would have to consider my best friend to be my husband, because I spend the most time with him, and the relationship that we have is very, very close. I mean, very, very close.
Yeah, that's good. And I know, and I kept up with the spiritual trips that y'all, that you've taken. But we'll get into that. So your husband is considered your best friend. Okay. So do you believe in your best friend, or do you consider God your best friend?
Well, I believe
Also,
that God is in him, and God is my best friend. So I
right.
believe that both are one and the same.
Gotcha. Now, this is just a question. I'm not trying to judge anybody. It's just a question I've thought of the other day. Now, do you know your best friend?
I know as much about him that he has given me permission,
Right.
because he's still sovereign. He still has free will, and he's
Yes.
still a unique being. So
Exactly.
I know him as well as he's allowed me to know him. And with that said, we hide
Right.
nothing from each other. We're completely transparent with one another. But
Okay.
it is, yeah.
Okay. So you can, and then would you consider God your best friend as well?
Yes, but to try to say that I would know God through and through would be fooling myself, because God's ways are so much higher than my understanding and thinking. I couldn't possibly put myself in a platitude of saying, "Yeah, I understand and comprehend God."
Okay. Cool. Now another question: do you believe in your husband? Versus knowing your husband.
But do I have faith in my husband? Like, I'm not. I
No,
guess I don't understand the question. Like, do I
no.
worship
It's
my
like
husband, or what
if
do
you
you?
never seen him before type thing. No. uh, Well, versus knowing. So just to get to the point, you know, instead of believing in God, I guess I would say I know God. As far as like, because people would say that they have a relationship with God, but they would say that they believe in God. Versus they know God. Like, because your best friend, and some people would say God's their best friend. I've even
Mhm.
heard women say, God is my man. God is okay. Well, do you know God, or do you believe? Do you believe in your man, or do you know your man? Right? They'll say, I'll believe in God.
I see what you're getting at. I got your point. Yeah, no.
Right, right.
Okay. If anyone tries to tell me that there's no God, you can't. I'll probably that's probably where I'll be immovable because I can't see anything outside of God.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. And then other people have their theories or their beliefs as well, and
Right.
there's different ones out there. But that's good. That's good because I think it's very important that we all, like it says in the good book, we treat each other the way that we want to be treated. Um, so I just try to spread light as much as I can. Are you one of the people that think that my name, speaking of light, has been propagate the instead of this?
No, I always
Okay.
say propagate this light. I had to correct you once. Remember when you were the one that
Oh, you
said
corrected
propagate the
me.
light? I was like, no, let's propagate this light, this little light of mine. I'm gonna let it shine.
Gonna let it
This little
shine.
light. That's right. That's right. See, and that's like the hardest thing for us to wrap our mind around is to understand that we're unique, sovereign beings. Okay, when we have the sovereignty and authority over self, that's when we have power over. At the same time, we're all one. We're all in one, of the one, and each one of us being unique. The beauty in that in itself, to try to understand the mind of God or to put ourselves in a platitude of saying that I know God through and through, and I know his ways, I know this, I know that. It's that would be something that I just could not do. I'll definitely tell you there's a God, but I'm not going to tell you that. uh I've learned, I've had lots of mysteries, lots of revelations. I've seen lots of things. I've had a lot of things unfold and unlock. But do I think that that's the end all be all? No, it's infinite. It's eternal. So how can I put a limit on the unlimited or try to bind or box something that is so omnipresent and so wonderful? One thing I can say is there's no shadow of turning, which is in the good book, and it's all love, unconditional love. If people understood that power of how much we are each loved and we're equally loved by this, what we call God, this being, and it is so much that we will melt. It's not like we need to be better than another one or a higher level or a higher platitude or we need to do this or that. We are loved so completely, so thoroughly, and so unconditionally that to understand and comprehend that part of it makes us melt.
That makes us melt.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Yep.
melted like butter when I was in the presence, and that was just a higher realm, a higher realm being that I had. I call it that love embrace. That
Right,
where I
right.
had that love embrace, and it was like thick like honey, and I mean, I was just melting like butter right there. I did not want to leave that space. I just wanted to stay there, and then when I felt that receding back, I was like, no, 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 no. It was beyond my comprehension to understand a love that is so complete and so perfect from the 3D perspective. It's hard to wrap our mind around.
Yeah, then you could I would say to anybody, you could kind of get there if you keep exercising, let's say positivity and love, like you were explaining right there, because it will bring you close to that feeling. And I choose that feeling. I choose that feeling over, the opposite feeling. And I said in the chat right there, tap into your inner G, tap into that capital G, that God within. And I think in Luke, what was it, Luke 24, it says that God is within. I think it's 24.
Jesus tells us that.
I don't know offhand.
Jesus says the kingdom of heaven is within. What are you doing? Stop looking outside of yourself. It's within you. Exactly.
Right. I want to ask you, what do you think about guardian angels? They're waiting on our call to ask them what we need them to do for us, or what do you think?
See, okay, we are under the clause of non-interference, and any higher level or higher realm being is going to abide by the non-interference because we're unique and we're sovereign. If you want assistance, you have to ask. They're not going to trample or trodden on our rights to experience, express, and learn and grow. You have to ask. You have to seek, and that's in the good book too. Seek, knock, and the door will be open. But if we don't ask, how will we receive? Because there's a non-interference clause. And that's how another way you can discern whether you're dealing with malevolent or benevolent. A benevolent being will never impose themselves upon you to do their bidding. You have to ask and you will get the answers. There's a non-interference. It's part of the spiritual law. You know this stuff though, so are you just wanting to bring it out to propagate this light?
Yeah. I see our train of thought is running in the background, our processes. I heard that your train of thought. That was nice because this is a good train of thought. And yeah, I just wanted to propagate that light because someone mentioned to me not too long ago about guardian angels, and I really don't know that much. I'm still have an open mind to things when it comes to guardian angels. I do want to learn more.
Sure. And how I've been saying it is when we come in, we don't come in alone. We come in with what I call a governor and a teacher that watch over us. It's otherwise AKA known as the restrainer. And as we show ourselves approved, then they kind of back off. We call out for them, then they will assist, teach, and move. But until then, the restrainer will restrain until it be removed. And because you've shown yourself approved that you can rule and reign over yourself without troddening down to a point where through a thought you're killing somebody, and you're no longer thinking along those lines. You're thinking along the lines of we're all one family here and we're in this together, because what you have done to one, you've done to all. So that's why, the spiritual law is not something that's supposed to be grievous. Actually, it teaches us how to be towards one another, to be able to ascend into the higher realms of awareness. So we'll be cleansed out, have the distillation process, have the purification go on within. And again, that's all done through sovereignty and free choice by asking. So when people talk about guardian angels or even the Holy Spirit baptism, I call that, opening that bridge to the divine mind or to the divine consciousness, or some people call it the third eye opening. These phenomena, we have physical representations of them to show us it's possible and achievable. It's hidden in plain sight for us to be able to see when our eyes are ready to see it, and to achieve when we're ready to ask. And then they're able to come in and assist us. Where do you think the messages come from that we get in dreams and visions? Or when I astral travel and I'm taken to a place and I'm met by somebody who has a long conversation with me, is very kind and shows me around. these are beings because I am seeking, I'm looking, and I'm not satisfied because I understand unlimited and I understand infinite. So why would anybody stop and be satisfied with anything at any moment when we know that, infinite and unlimited is infinite and unlimited? And to think that we'll ever be God, or as children, so we have God within us, but to think we want to be like God, or to think that we will ascend and be like God, or have that kind of a mentality, is a very, uh, I would say that would be like, maybe like grade school type of a maturity level of evolution. But we're getting ready to go into high school, into college, and there's some that occupy this space in which we inhabit here, toggling back and forth into realms that are much higher than the fifth, much higher. And they have an awareness and a conscious expansion, and they walk in, like you were talking about, and you can feel the tangible energy that radiates around them is being pure unconditional love. You can feel it. It's in the air. Kind of how when Christ would walk past people, they could feel the loving presence of his being radiating out and around his being. It's that energy is so tangible. It's beautiful.
Yeah, that's a really good experience having those types of experiences. Would you say that you've met entities that were not human, and of the good side, if that makes any sense?
I have not met any malevolent beings that are above five, five and above.
Okay, so there's some that's under five.
Yeah, that was basically the topic. Like when we get to the fifth, which is what mankind, as we're evolving again, we're evolving into the fifth. So we're going as a whole, but can we fall from there? Well, Atlantis and Lemuria is a good example to look back at and kind of see what happens, and we've got the representation of the asteroid belt that goes between Saturn and Jupiter, possibly being a fifth planet that was destroyed, which, the civilizations that were here prior to them coming here wrote down the best they could what they were seeing. They see these things coming from heaven. They had godlike powers. Some strange stuff happened, but they came to restore themselves back to being fifth dimensional beings. But they were, at the same time, you got to understand that at that level of fifth, that there's a very good possibility that when they fell, that others rose and went up to the seventh, or by now could be at the ninth. It's a constant evolution, and it's a constant growth, continuous growth and expansion, and it's beautiful. And everything we experience goes into the Akashic. And you know what you experience when we get to a certain level, what you experience and you input into the Akashic, others can go in and draw from the Akashic. So they don't have to necessarily have that experience to gain the wisdom from what you put in the Akashic for them to learn from, by just going in there and having a visit and expanding from it.
Mm.
I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, that does make sense. I mean, I like how you put that. I never heard anybody say that. I've did some studies on the Akashic records. I wouldn't say that
Like
I've
the
been there
books,
before. Right. It's like a library from
like
what I've
it says in the scripture, and then the books of life are open, and it's like that. It's kind of like that. So, but when you probably have been through there, everybody goes through there. Everybody, whether we're consciously aware of it or not, is a different story, because we're always continuously flowing through there and making deposits. But it's not like what we think. You don't got to go in there and write it down how we do here. You go in and you're there, and boom, you're back out, because it's like instant. And I wanted to see it. I wanted to see what this place looked like. So I had to slow myself down to a point where I was able to actually see but I only got to see it for a minute, and oh my goodness gracious! First of all, it's huge. It's huge, and it's not what we think it is. It's not a bunch of books like a library, but we have physical representations of a library here. So you can kind of put it in that perspective. But at the same time, it's done through a technology that's so far beyond my understanding. When I was looking at it, only thing I could come close to even comparing it to is how crystals store gnosis. Even when you can go back to the Bible, and Jesus says, "If I quiet this crowd, the stones themselves will scream out because they store gnosis." The rocks, they have they have the storage capacity to store information, and we know that now because they're even used in computers and all kinds of different things with our technology. But closer to a crystal-like thing, nothing like what do you call it? Superman. Not like Superman's crystal palace. Something completely different, something so beautiful. I can't put words on it. Hey, Pri, how are you? QA, show yourself. And if you are, if you have two initials, and I know you well, just flash your camera on and off very quickly before I add you to the stream, and then I will go ahead and add you in. Because I think that's my girl, but I want to make sure that that's my girl before I add anybody. We don't want any trouble. Or type in the private. I'll mute up so Patrick can say hello.
Hey, Prelim, how you doing tonight?
Good. Thanks
Okay.
for having me on.
Oh, no problem, no problem. This is the Propagate This Light show with I'm just joking.
No.
It's all good.
You're in, girl.
Okay.
Okay.
This is just pretty exciting. I wanted to talk.
Am
I loud enough?
Yes, you're loud in here. I just wanted to make sure it was you. I had a feeling my instincts were saying yes, 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 but I wanted to make sure. So, and I know that you're well familiar with Pri, because of course you've seen his art. Propagate pops in and out every once in a while, and this is JJ, and a phenomenal piano player. Very gifted and spiritually and very beautiful being. So I'll let you guys take the floor. Share.
Hi, JJ.
Hey, I don't know how to follow that, Michelle. Thank you very much. How sweet. I was wanting to go back and talk more about Akashic Records. When I had my quantum healing, that's one of the things I wanted to check on, and we never got there. So when you experience it, or anyone else can, if you can help me with that, how do you slow yourself down so you can, get an idea of what you've done before?
I didn't get to see what I did before. That comes along the path. Things are revealed to us. I just wanted to slow down the speed of thought long enough to be able to see this place. I just wanted to see it, see what it looked like. So yeah, I'll let the gentleman feel that, because I just wanted a glimpse at what the place looked like. And it's
I do think I've been there when I think back on some of the more the dreams, what do you call them, lucid dreams, that I have things I'm dreaming every night now. But but I still want to know things from the past. I think I've seen it though. Does anybody else have something they can throw in to tell me how you stopped there
You mean
and dwell a while?
recurring dreams? You're having a recurring theme? Is that what you said?
No. I
No.
said I'm dreaming a lot. I'm dreaming every night now. I mean, they wake me up kind of dreams going, wow.
Oh,
But I'm beginning to put things together. What I said was, I think I have been to that great big place that Michelle talks about where the records are held, where the big
yes.
books are.
Yeah,
um,
that is, I
what
would
what I
say,
want to know,
I
go ahead.
I think that's rare. I mean, of all, because a lot of people have dreams that are just kind of like collages or overlapping, parts of the subconscious. But to reach the Akashic records, I think that you're doing that's very good. I mean, how does it feel when you wake up?
Um, are you asking me about
Yeah, your
being in
dreams.
that place?
Yeah.
Well, the dreams I've been having most lately, I am always in them, but it's always different people and different countries. Um, but I always know who they are. Um, I've fortunately with my profession, I've traveled quite a few places on the earth, and some of the places I'm dreaming of, though, I have not been to. And um, I have 2 children, and both of my children's father is always in 'em the dreams, and my children are in the dreams in one way or another. I always I'm beginning to wake up knowing that must have been either the 5th dimension or, if we live in the 3rd dimension now, maybe it was a dimension from a long time ago, in those other timelines, those other past lives that I'm just now beginning to grasp. That's the way I feel when I wake up, and I think about these things all day. Of course, um, YouTube is my TV, and I have a lot of different, people that I'm not a lot, a few select people that I'm listening to, and I get on there and start, um, winding down from my dream once I've had some coffee and a smoke. But, um, I still wanna spend some time in that room. Maybe I am reading my book now. Wow, that's a thought.
Well, you know that we all go through it. I mean, every being goes through the Akashic. We're constantly going through, whether when we're sleeping or whatever, whether we're conscious of it or not. We are going
Mhm.
and dropping information constantly. So whether we know it or not, we're constantly adding to those records. It's an expansion of consciousness, and it's quantified. It's beautiful, but yeah. So coming into having dreams and the things that you're talking about now from before, it sounds like things are
Yeah.
taking a huge swing in a direction that you were wanting to go. I'm really excited for you.
Wow, but that just went across my brain, though. Maybe I am. Thank you for your excitement. That is pretty cool to think of. I'll see y'all later. I gotta go to sleep now.
That's all you wanted to share? That's it? You get us all wound up and then you leave? That's just it?
No, no,
I
no,
have all
no.
these amazing
It was a
dreams and
joke.
every single night, and oh my gosh, and okay, bye.
No, it was a joke. It was just a joke.
You just love to poke the bear, don't you?
Well, they don't call me Lucille Ball for nothing. Okay.
Lucy, you got some explaining to do.
I have a question about
Okay.
the place you were talking about. Um, you said that we all go there. Don't we all automatically? Doesn't it work like this? Like automatically, our experiences just automatically goes there. But you're saying that we actually go there, and our spiritual self goes there to add something to it. Is that what you're saying?
Well, first we have to understand the concept of the speed of thought. When we understand the concept of the speed of thought, you could be sitting here right now having a conversation with us here with the other three and yourself, and you could be popping back and forth, back and forth, back and forth to there and dropping and coming back, dropping and coming back. So I'm talking about where I was able to finally slow down enough and look. It was in an astral during dream time. Now, otherwise, I'm not going to tell you when you go and when you, because the speed of thought is an uncalculable amount of speed that I can't comprehend. I know it's faster than fast, where the higher level awareness beings, it almost seems like they're at quad locations simultaneously, because the movement of the speed of thought is so fast that it would be like flicker rates, faster than flicker rates. So it could seem like they're solidly there, right there with you, and solidly someplace else and someplace else and someplace else. Now we're talking omnipresence. So, and still, we haven't come anywhere near God's understanding, God's unlimited, infinite abilities and beauty and glory and majesty that's there forever and ever.
Got you.
Well,
But
tell us what you saw.
what do you mean by drop? Yeah. Tell us what you saw. And also, I'm going to ask. So, what do you mean by dropping? We're dropping there. What do you mean we're
Whatever,
stopping there for a second?
like your experience, when your experiences, whenever you have an experience of growth and expansion, anything of that nature, you add it to what is in the good book as your book of life. So it's added in there. Okay, you've manifested this experience, you went through it, this is how you responded to it, you put it in there. And then maybe you just revisited something similar, but then you responded to it differently, and then whoop, that's recorded in there. And guess what happens? The one before that where it kind of came out a little sideways, or maybe it was a little bit more of a selfish way of coming through the experience. But the next time that you did it, it was more of a selfless way of doing it, and allowing the sovereignty of another being, and allow, you know what I'm saying, evolution. Well, the one gets like it disappears, and then the one that you've achieved that where it was a little less selfless is the one that's recorded. So it's like writing and rewriting, overwriting as we evolve. That's how I understand it. It's like a technology. I keep saying like Superman's thing, because it was like different crystals. It was colorful. It was beautiful. It was huge. It was some kind of technology that is beyond my comprehension. To try to tell you what I seen is probably why I wasn't able to, until I slowed myself down to look at it. I still can't comprehend what it is that I was actually looking at, but you'll know it when you see it. I'll just put it that way.
Okay, so what you're saying is, as we change and as we evolve, those experiences automatically go in there. What was ever in there first time, as far as you said, it gets overwritten, I guess, by the choices, I guess. So we don't necessarily need to go there in the spiritual, form. We don't actually need to go there to place something in the book. it will automatically be updated, is what you're saying, I guess, huh?
Well, I think we are all constantly going there at the speed of thought, but we can't comprehend that at this point. And I don't think physically that you're leaving and going there. I think that it has to. It is a part of our soul that is
Oh,
making
okay.
the deposits. It's not.
Okay.
I am not going to even try to pretend to have the answers to all of these types of questions when I had to struggle with slowing down enough just to even get a glance at this place. And I feel blessed that I got a glance at it. It's
Yeah,
Right.
you
Okay,
sh
so I get what you're saying now. Okay. I'm sorry.
no apologies. There's no
Oh no.
there's only the only questions that are dumb questions are the questions that we don't ask, and we should never apologize for curiosity. And anything we ever want to know and really get deep, quantified understanding is from asking and receiving and having it unlocked within us. Is the
No.
best, most purest form of information to come into our awareness.
No, I was saying go
That's
ahead. I'm sorry
precious.
because I was talking over JJ, and I was just saying to her, go ahead. I'm sorry, but thank you for
No,
that
no,
though.
I just said, yeah, I just said that's precious. The thought of, um, scripture calls it the Lamb's Book of Life, um, and that ever grows.
So the Akashic records are equivalent to the Lamb's Book of Life, or are those two separate?
With For me, that's what's evolving in my spirit, that's the same.
Okay.
But I grew up, I'm a Christian, and I grew up my father's an evangelist, so I was, like, hearing the word of God all the time, and there's parts of it that I just can't let go of. I will not let go of, and Akashic records, that was something totally new to me. I would say even 4 or 5 years ago,
Yeah,
and
I'm
I've
I'm
searched
still
and searched.
I'm still understanding, learning about it.
Yeah, I'm still searching. If Michelle would just give us a little bit more of what she saw, I'd be so grateful. You know, I think my
I think your
um
comparison of what you're talking about is spot on. Different cultures have different ways of describing the same thing in a way for each culture to understand it. There's
I like
no
that.
right or wrong. It's a matter of understanding what it is that we're perceiving. So um, I've never heard of
Yeah.
Akashic either until I started exploring and understanding that I was going outside of my body and visiting these other places, these other realms of existence. It's not like I'm going to another planet. I've never felt that way. And I've always felt that these beings are what were once called or are called in the biblical sense angels. Different hierarchy or rankings, how angels are
Yes.
ranked. It is, you talk about a seventh or a ninth or a 12th dimensional or higher. It's different rankings of awareness of evolution, and they're benevolent. They will not ever encroach on your sovereignty. Actually, they're clapping and applauding every time we make an achievement that to us would seem like nothing, but to them it's huge. I can't explain it any other way except for what I've been able to be blessed to be able to see.
Well, I feel like we're in church tonight. That's precious.
Not
So
necessarily.
church.
Well, the church is your temple. Your temple is you. So where you are, you're in church. Wherever you go, you take your building and your temple with you.
Yeah. Well, even scripture says that there are different dimensions of angels. I guess it depends on what version of the Bible that you're reading.
Right. Different rankings.
Yeah.
What do you think of the Rosicrucians? They talk about angels a lot in their in their interpretation.
I'm not
I've
familiar
only
with Rosicrucians.
oh, okay. I met one and I studied it briefly in the 90s. Not since. I just thought it was interesting how they had acquired information about all the different kinds of angels and their purpose and
Oh, that's
what kind of
interesting.
assignments they have.
Did you resonate with it? Did it touch your heart,
I only
your
read
soul?
like the first about the first 10 pages, and then I started reading something else. It was pretty hard to read. If I
I
read it
see.
now, it might be easier. It's been a while, 25 years.
Hmm. Oh,
I
you
don't
must be an old
remember.
man, huh?
I don't remember it
That
that
was a
well.
joke.
I'd have to restart reading it.
Yeah, I don't know anything about it. If you do have the want to read that book again or to dive into it a little bit deeper, I sure would be interested to know what you find out. I'm very interested in that.
Hey JJ, I have a couple of Bible questions for you. Can I ask you?
Uh, you sure you're asking the right person? Go
Yeah, I
ahead.
just want to see. Yeah, I just want to see what you have to say. When it says God created the heavens and the earth in the Bible. What do you think the heavens were? Do you think that verse actually says God created the skies and the earth, or are different levels?
I do believe there are different levels of heaven, but I'm beginning to see that it's the dimensions, like it's the third dimension and the fifth dimension
Uh-huh.
and the seventh dimension that we're learning about now, that Michelle's leading us through, helping us to understand. Uh, I've always believed there were different heavens, different dimensions, but I also see a bigger picture. I mean, the whole universe is God's, you know? What we as human beings right now could see as the heavens and the earth, it's got to mean something completely different to God. We can't fathom how big and how wondrous God is. Although we are sovereign beings and we are learning to love that part of ourselves that is God, and I believe that's the Holy Spirit.
Mhm.
Um,
Right, right. It
we
is the
can
Holy
just,
Spirit.
fathom that bigger picture. I think that's just amazing. Uh, I don't. No longer put God in any kind of a box. If He said He created the heavens and the earth, He did. She did. It did. They did. And we can't. I don't know. It's hard to imagine. Bless you. What is all out there other
Mm-hmm.
than this us being on this blessed Mother Earth, and she is precious to us, and He created her too.
It is
Mm,
Akashic Records is at like a 5D place that is right outside of
No, no, no,
the Earth. Is it a
no.
spiritual place that you could go, or
It's in a place all of its own.
is it like a library?
You could look at it
Yeah.
that way.
Yes.
But it is a place that is all of its own.
Hmm.
Now there's beings there. Don't get me wrong. There's beings there. I would probably think they're of a very very high order to be
Uh-huh.
there, but there's not many, and we go through there. We go through there, and it's just I don't know. It's hard to explain it, but it's not like when we're talking seven. We're not. It's not like we're talking about. Okay, we're evolving. We're having another enlightenment period. We're going into the fifth dimension of living. Okay, and then we're good from there. You go to the seventh or sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, tenth, to infinity and beyond. This place
Mm.
is a place that all of us, each being, everybody, nobody excluded, no matter what level of awareness or what level of existence that we exist in, we all are moving at the speed of thought and depositing into the akashic, into the books of life, if that makes it easier to understand. And that place stands alone. It's separated. It's I don't know.
It could be on
I couldn't.
its own level.
Yeah, it's on a level that's not a level. It's in a place that's not a place. It's really hard to explain it. In this, only thing I
Maybe
could say is just ask with intention and focus and be patient, because everything we ask for is always a resounding yes, and it's the non-interference clause. So if you're asking, seeking, you will get answered, and you will get helped, and you will have it answered with patience.
Okay,
JJ.
thanks, Michelle. Go ahead.
In relation to that, just real quick, God created the heavens and the earth. Which Bible did it say that in? In the King James version, correct?
I thought it said it in all of them at one time. But doesn't it now say God created
JJ.
the heaven and the earth? Are you asking if she's Mandela affected?
Where did JJ go?
She's here. Take over the conversation. I'll be back in like 2 minutes. Don't be going
Okay.
yeah,
crazy
I'm
in
still
here.
here. I thought it said
Okay.
heavens.
Right. And so you're taking a look right now. I'm
I've
presuming.
got about what? Pursue you?
No, no, no. I didn't say pursue
What did
me. I
you
said
say?
I'm presuming that you were searching for the
Please do me.
yeah,
I
yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
looking.
Right. Yeah.
It says heaven. I'm looking at
Yeah.
King James. It says heaven. It sure does. Well, isn't
Something
that
else.
something?
Yeah.
Wait. This is never mind. I'm looking at a different one.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. That is incredible. Did you already know that, or were you just checking?
Oh, I have personal experience with that one. And it started like
Well,
years ago.
uh, in the King James that I have, it said heaven, and I'm looking in my NIV, and it says heavens.
Hmm.
In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Well, that's pretty exciting. I
Hmm.
I think the more you search, do your own research, and I've heard this from people all my life too. Now it just seems to be happening in a more expedient manner. God is really showing me things, and it
Hmm.
has to do with everything else. It's like, you know, share what you know so we can all grow, like Michelle says. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I've just been one that's been sitting back and listening and trying to learn. But when she brought up the Akashic, I don't know if she did. That's great, Johannes. I like that. I want to know more about the Akashic records. That's something I've
Mm-hmm.
been wanting to know. Um,
Mm-hmm.
most all of my life, I've been taught that there is no reincarnation, that Jesus was the only one that ever reincarnated, and I've never found any scripture, any backing to that thought anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Mm-hmm.
kind of like something.
And Jesus says, but if you can handle this, because they are saying Isaiah must come first and restore all things. Well, if you can handle this, John was Isaiah, and he came to restore all things, making the way straight for. Mhm. So, what is he saying there? What does he mean by that?
Isaiah
Well,
reincarnated into John.
and I wanted to tell you guys something. This might be interesting when you're in dream state. If you come
Yeah.
across if you come across little children and they come up and talk to you, that is probably you're visiting a realm, because when you visit these other realms, the stature of these beings, they're very large, they're very tall, it can be very intimidating. If they were to show you what they really look like, you would shrink down and probably start bowing, or you know what I mean, you would not be able to absorb whatever message you were seeking that they were there to answer. So they will change their appearance to be something that is you're able to handle and then perceive to take back with you. So if you come across like children or even adults, you know that they're your same height or whatever, that doesn't mean that you may be thinking you're having a lucid dream or something, but you actually may be traveling in your little Merkaba because it's not meant. And that's why we have it, and Jesus showed us many times how he used his for his physical body, and how he was able to disappear and things like that, and be teleported through his Merkaba at the speed of thought. But I birdwalk. Okay, but they'll appear to you in a way that to give you the answers. And when you wake up from these, you'll remember pieces and parts.
Mhm.
You'll think that,
Yes.
oh, I can't, I'm not holding on to it. But the part thought whatever was delivered to you that you were meant to keep, that's what's going to stick. And then there might be something come across your day, and it's like an affirmation, and it brings it back, and then it restores the message back within you that you received. But when you start to deal and you start to, they start to show themselves, like those lighter beings. And I wanted to bring in tanning beds, and I got kind of chastened over that. You don't need to bring tanning beds here. We don't need tanning beds. And they were taller. They were slender. They were very, very pale looking beings in this realm, but they were bigger. Uh, and I'm thinking, oh, we got inner living. 3D mind got in the way there, and I'm like, and I brought my husband along on this trip, and I was like, well, we can open a tanning salon, maybe they don't get good sun in this realm or something. So, but they come in and get a tan. And the lady that was showing me around is like, no, we don't even have money, and we don't have exchange like that here. It doesn't work like that here. And I was like, whoops. Because it was a thought. It was just a thought in my mind, and she was able to see right through it. So when we talk about like these different realms or these different rankings of angels, whether they're malevolent or benevolent, if we think they're going to achieve a certain realm of evolution, and think that they're going to be able to stand there and be malevolent and withstand that energy and be in that presence, no, they will fall. They will fall back, toppling head over foot. Like Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water, and Jack fell down, and Jill came tumbling after it. Whatever, they will tumble down, because it's about the purity that is going on within. And like I said, in here now where we're at, we've got beings inhabiting this realm with us that are achieving and going to realms that are much further than we can comprehend. And they do it on a daily basis. It is a beautiful, beautiful thing to know that we inhabit a space in which they're pulling in such energies to help with this process that humanity as a whole is going through. So, anyways, if you see little children or somebody, you may be getting a message. They may not be wanting to show you exactly their stature because they get pretty large and muscular and tall and humongous, and you look like a little grasshopper. You're like, hello, I look like a little bug compared to you. But they're talking to you with such love and such compassion. I don't know how to explain it, but so yeah, just think on that when you're having your dreams and stuff. On looking around at where you're at, try to be more observant and perceiving what else is going on in this place where you're at in this lucid moment that you're having of clarity, and see where are you? What color's the sky? What do the buildings look like? What do the beings look like? What does the beach look like? Do they have plants? What are their plants? What do their pets look like? What do the animals look like? And try to perceive what's going on and help the conscious expansion of awareness to understand what you're perceiving, so you can understand that, oh, hey, I'm in a whole other realm of existence here. I'm in another one of the heavens that God created, inhabited by these beings. And they're treating me like an equal and with unconditional love. It's such a beautiful thing. It just really is.
Wow. Wow.
Answer. Oh, go ahead, JJ. I'm sorry.
Wow. I don't know what to say to that. It makes me get real a single lady wanting to be married kind of thing. That was just my own sorry. I take that back.
Sorry, not sorry.
It's a girl thing, I guess. Oh wow.
So
They are big.
the answer.
They are big. Go
So
ahead.
Michelle, the answer to the stream, to the title of the stream, can we fall from 5D back to 4D? So you're saying that there are higher beings that are able to come down to where we're at and help out, with the process. So what do you mean by fall? Do you mean by falling in a bad way to where
From
you made it
5D
to
to
5D,
3D.
but you
Yeah, you can still, because duality still exists in 5D. And I think that's where the misnomer comes in. Everybody thinks we're going to ascend to 5D and it's going to be peaches and cream. But no, even if we just look back, even if it's considered mythology or whatever, lots of us are getting the memories of Lemuria. And I'd never heard of Lemuria before. I've heard of Atlantis. And I didn't know what Lemuria really was until here lately. And then having that where I was underwater in that city, and I felt like I was at home. And then I figured out, wait, I'm underwater. Wait, hold on a minute. But it wasn't underwater whenever I inhabited it before. It was an odd feeling. But they were fifth dimensional, and they fell. They destroyed their realm of existence, and they came here to work it out. So can you fall from 5D back to 3D? Yeah, you can. It's possible. But if we're evolving and we're doing the inner work and we're keeping our temple clean and we're treating each other how we want to be treated, and we're showing them respect for each other as we are, and living as brothers and sisters, not trying to encroach our will upon another or force somebody to think like we do or be exact, because we're not meant. God didn't make a cookie cutout. He made us all unique for a purpose. We're all unique and in the
Yes.
one. And so that's mind wrapper right there is to get the concept of understanding the oneness that we are, at the same time simultaneously being unique, sovereign, beautiful, one of a kind being that you are. That, this is about you, and how your conscious expansion and awareness comes about. We choose, 'cause we're sovereign, we have free will, and we can choose to continue the path, or we can choose to decide to oppress our brothers and sisters over our will, or trying to think we're right and they're wrong. And then if we fall into like power struggles and things of that nature, we fall. That's just the nature of it. And understanding how it happened helps us so that we can prevent it from happening in the future. Because we want to keep moving forward. We don't want to fall backwards.
I think it has a lot to do with vibrations, the vibrations that you carry. Like what I said just a few moments ago, that kind of bumped me from 5D to 3D real quick. But it is a purity thing, in raising your vibrations, keeping your vibrations. And that's something I'm having to learn too. I think we all go through learning these things, of going on your journey.
So we can fall backwards, but we don't want to. We want to continue moving forward. That's what I'm getting from it.
Once you hit like seventh, you're in the clear. You're not even going to get to the seventh. You're not even going to get to the seventh unless the dross is out, because you're transparent. You're not going to get there. It's not going to happen. You can't. And she's right. It has to do we send out. We have electronic signatures. Each of us unique in that regard. And you vibrate it out. It's your energy vibration that oscillates around us. We've got our toroidal field that comes from our heart, which is like the magnet reaping what we sow, and then we've got our conscious divine mind, which and then the Merkaba, which oscillates and transports. We're so much more than just this physical avatar. And even for some people, it's really hard to wrap our minds even around that part of our being. They're still on understanding that not only am I physical, but I'm spiritual. Well, you're physical, spiritual, and you have a soul, and you have a Merkaba, which is a part of your essence and your natural being, which is what you travel by the speed of thought through. Then you got the toroidal field, which is that magnet, which is why we get a new heart. We need the new heart, the fleshy heart, the one filled with love, because your toroidal field then extends out vastly around you, and you oscillate out pure unconditional love to all your brothers and sisters. You won't even look at people in the same way ever again. All you can see is divinity in everybody's eyes. You don't see anything else. It's a complete renewing of the mind. So to say that the truth is not in the Bible would be false, because it is there. It's written very plainly. It's just a matter of understanding and getting the interpretation of what we're reading. See, it even says in scripture that the Bible is not for individual interpretation. How many different doctrines and denominations do we have through man's private interpretation, making doctrines out of that precious book? And people think it's the other way, that no, you're not supposed to read your Bible and have your private interpretation. No, you're not supposed to have a dogmatic doctrine, ritualistic, everybody eating from the same trough, because you're unique. What you need for your path, for your journey, is different than what it is that I need. And that's why the path is so flippin' narrow. You're the only one on it. But we have help. All we have to do is ask. I hope that made sense. I'm not trying to be preachy. I really am not. We're just discussing, the topics that are coming up. And I know Pri has had a few things to say. He keeps putting it in the chat. instead of speaking them here. So, please
I
get
can't
involved.
see the chat. What'd you say, preliminal? I can't see the chat.
I was just saying how we our heart knows our mind can get in the way, depending on whatever programming is in our subconscious, or the
Yes.
ego, and what the old self wants and what the new self is striving for, or what the
That's
lower,
true.
what the flesh and the spirit is struggling with. And the flesh is stubborn, and it requires, a lot of people just need a boot camp or a training ground to reprogram themselves, or to overcome things. And I mean that in a good way. I don't mean like,
No, I totally agree with you.
something that's it's a liberation, not a prison. Self-control isn't. A lot of people just don't give it a chance, and I think if you're just willing to wait long enough, you arrive there, and you get past whatever that's holding you back. And I'm not talking about any of you. I think for anyone that's trying knows what I mean.
No, it's true. We all go through things.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's going through those things help us to help someone else to get through them. You were
Yeah.
talking about a boot camp or training, or
Right.
a lot of things we figure them out on our own.
Yeah. That's true.
From asking, just from asking, we get the answers.
Mm-hmm. So several of my friends within the last 5 years have all quit smoking, and they were people that I thought never would quit. It seemed like they would never stop, and they all did, and I'm proud of them. And in their own, like, it's different for each of them, but they all just kind of reached a point where they were fed up, and they put their foot down, and they just said, I'm gonna endure this thing until the craving goes away. And it's kind of like slaying a demon. You get rid of it. That's just one example. It applies to anything else that's a real obstacle. It could be old friends that are just bad for you, that you shouldn't really, it's just, we all have old friends like that where we care about them, but they're kind of harmful to us, and they kind of bring us down. I'm thinking of people I've known since way back, and it's hard to just say, I don't want to hurt their feelings, so I just try to be polite, but it's taxing.
Yeah. Well, then you just give them all the love you can during the moment or two that you see them, and let it go. Let it go.
Well, I mean,
I guess that's easier said than done, huh?
Yeah.
Well, I have a couple things, if I may add a couple things
Sure.
to what you just shared.
Yeah.
It's your show.
No, this is your show. The first one is that have control of the manifestation of what is going on in the creation. And therefore, when we understand that concept, what can hurt us? Only things that can hurt us are things that we think, as a man thinketh, so shall it be. So if we think something will hurt us, it will. If we don't, it won't. It's a paradigm shift. I lost weight without going on a diet. I didn't change any of my eating habits, and I'm back down to the size I was before I had children. How did I do that? I eat like a horse. That's my husband. I eat us out of house and home. And he's like, oh my God, where you putting it? Anyways, but I continue to lose weight without changing my diet. My doctor was astounded. Okay, that was one example. The second one is that when it comes to other divine sovereigns, when other divine sovereigns are imposing upon us their ideals or oppressing us in any way, not treating us with the respect and kindness that we're treating them back with, do we have to stay in that situation? No, we do not. We have the right as a divine free will sovereign being to walk away. And what I do is I part ways, still knowing they're my brother and my sister, with unconditional love, and I move on, because there is so many people inhabiting this realm that are healthy and good and will treat you as an equal, sovereign, unique being that you are, in which is how we should all be treating each other. But not everybody's there yet. Not everybody understands those concepts. But do you need to be the kicking post for them, or be trodden down because you think a little differently, or chastened, or have like group mentality or bullying and things like that? No, because you don't deserve it. You've got to have the value in yourself. And that's where self-love comes in. And we've got to take care of self first, because that's the only one we have charge over. That's all I wanted to add.
I guess it's all going inside yourself and doing that inner work. Um, I've never been able to grasp um, the thought of loving yourself, loving myself, love others more than I love myself. So that's just like, what do you mean, love myself? I, I still have trouble grasping that one. I'm trying though.
You'd be amazed at how many people outsource their happiness depending on how somebody else is treating them and behaving. And that's how you can tell whether or not you are truly loving yourself, or if you're depending on others for your happiness and joy. When, I'm just as happy to go into meditation and spend time alone and in prayer, or in the astral realms, and having my one-on-one time, whether it be different realm beings delivering messages, or anything. I'm okay with myself. I'm okay to be with myself. I'm okay to be with groups. I'm okay either way. It doesn't affect my sovereignty at all anymore. Where once it used to depend on, does this guy like me? Is he cheating on me? Is he caring about me? What's going, I used to worry about those things like 30 plus years ago, where now I don't have those thoughts even cross my mind anymore. It doesn't matter. What they're doing is their business. What I'm doing is my business. And I need to rule and reign over the one I can control, which is just me.
Which is that inner work, bringing all of that to fruition.
It's coming. We're doing it. Everybody is doing it. It's so beautiful. It's just, you guys, everybody is just so amazing. I just love everybody so much. I mean, it's just, gosh, I don't know. The way I look at people, the beauty that is in each of us, so unique, so perfectly made. Oh my gosh, makes you cry. I mean, it's a good cry though. It's a like heart. Well, my heart warms, and and I'm working. I'm still doing inner work. I'm working. I'm in it I'm in the thick of it with everybody. I mean, we say unlimited, infinite. How can we sit there and say, I've made it when it's unlimited and infinite? You
And
know?
all of this, yeah, all of this is what raises your vibrations to keep you in that fifth dimension too. And going to those other dimensions, whether it be through sleep or whether it be through, I guess, depending on what level you're on, um, if you could just go there through meditation, um, of what you can achieve. Is that
JJ, you mentioned you're a musician, I think, at the beginning of the show, or something.
well, I think Michelle did. Yeah,
I
I
think that
am.
was me that gave that secret
That's right.
away. Sorry.
I
It
was
was a
just
secret.
saying, how meditation can be kind of like it's like when you start playing random, not something that's pre-written. It's kind
Spirit.
of like exploring the sound, and like I play drums, and sometimes I'll just start playing, and without a certain beat in mind, just to see where it goes. And I think
Yeah.
I kind of think of meditation like that, where you're just listening, or you're reading, or working on something, and that state of mind um, is sort of like being available to your higher intuition and resisting, the typical um, the
TV media
yeah,
or
just kind of
anything
the
that
vegetation, the apathy, or the anything that just isn't searching, or just typical kind of things. And
that's
I was comparing it to music, uh as a just as an allegory, like as a way of, or as an assistant to meditation, or
yes.
seeking God's will, and as a way to stay as a way to stay in control. You need to keep perspective all the time. That's the hard part, or for me anyway, is to keep a to keep perspective, so that you don't fall off the path, or so that you don't go, so that you don't get distracted.
Well, I like that
I'm kind of
perspective.
talking. I'm winging it. This isn't something I've spoken a lot, or over and over. I'm kind of searching for the words while I'm talking.
I'm doing the same thing, but I do understand what you're saying because you're going to the same thought that I'm having, listening to you have this
Yeah,
conversation. Is keeping that mind clear. I know there's a lot of fantastic and exciting things on television with all the boom, bang, boom, shaboom, boom, and the noise on the
yeah,
commercials, and oh, hey, that's so and so on the commercial, and hey, look at that face, and all this and that and the other, and all this. There's so much going on,
right.
and I understand it becomes
It,
addicting, but
and
when
the
you get rid of the
social,
noise, when
yeah,
you
the
when you get
social noise,
when you get
right?
when you get rid of the noise, you're able to focus more. And because see, some people have said that hey, it's hard for me to meditate
Mhm.
because my mind is always running. So you have to like kind of shut it down a bit, and
Ah,
hopefully you'll be able to get to that state. Excuse me, where you're focused on nothing pretty much, and you don't have to cross your legs or anything like that. You don't have to do anything
right.
crazy. Meditation is not, some type of some new
And
science or something like that.
yeah.
It's just pretty much quieting your mind.
Hmm.
And once you get to that state, you'll be able to focus
Yeah.
focus on the things that you desire most, and make sure that you focus on positive. Because what I've
Yeah.
experienced in my life, uh,
Uh,
the focus matters. So what you focus on, you could polarize, and you can manifest.
Excuse
So
me.
try to focus on positivity as much as you can,
mhm.
in my opinion.
And
Here's
why
my
why
words.
is it that you think that positivity is not polarization?
Why?
No, not you, Pri. I'm asking Propagate. Why would he think that if
Oh,
you're thinking positivity, which would be what you'd say like good, why is that? Why would you consider that to be not polarizing? That because to me that's still eating from that tree of good and evil when we really need to be eating from the tree of life.
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, it is polarizing. Even the opposite, I think, is polarizing. I mean, when you just think about it, evil's evil, good is good.
That's right. Just eating
Uh,
from that tree. Yes, exactly.
right. But it's which one you're going to focus on, and that's what I meant by in your mind. What are
Neither.
you going to polarize? I just in
My little
reference to
my little
in
tricks. Let me share. Let me share. I'm just going to share two little easy, quick and easy ways to start to learn to just get the monkey mind to be quiet
uh,
and let that inner voice within you get louder and louder. And remember, you have to be asking for assistance in order for the non-interference clause so you can get the help from the higher realms in which you're seeking to get the gnosis to understand self. All right. The
yeah.
first thing that I do when you're awake is, oh, maybe your mind's going 100 miles an hour. You get a bazillion things going on, the phone's ringing, whatever. Turn your ringers off, quiet the noise down, and just sit there and just only thing you want to think about is your breathing. Just think about breathing in and breathing out. Because now, guess what? You've just taken all that noise and funneled it and focused it only into one item, which is your breathing. And once you're able to make that step, then make the next step. In your mind's eye, picture a blank piece of paper.
A
Don't
paper.
write on it. Don't color on it. Don't do anything on that piece of paper.
Mhm.
You just look in your mind's eye on that blank piece of paper. You're not thinking positive. You're not thinking negative. You're not monkey minding. Blank piece of paper. And then that voice will get louder and louder. It takes a little time. It's not going to happen overnight. We take each step of this path moment by moment. Be patient with ourselves. It's not a race because we're all in this together and we are making that jump into the fifth together.
And
So,
patience can be enjoyable. Yeah, I mean,
oh,
patience
yes.
doesn't have. A lot of people are afraid of that word, like because they're always anxious.
Yeah. So we're not polarizing, right? Because you're
Yeah,
only thinking of
you
a blank
want
piece of paper.
you got to reprogram your mind to think of patience as a good thing, not something hard. But,
And see,
you know,
that's it. We
yeah,
think we have to reprogram our mind. But when
yeah,
we're thinking of a blank piece of paper and we have nothing
yeah.
on our mind, we're getting the divine help, the guidance that we're seeking. We're getting understanding um, from our inner self is opening up with those keys, which you've had the keys. You've had the dream with the keys, the three keys. You're
Mhm.
unlocking them. You're unlocking those doors and you're gaining access to the divine mind. And that the divine mind will take over. And so it's not a burden or an encompassing thing for
Mhm.
us to struggle with. It's not an inner struggle. Once we get the quieting down, that's the inner struggle. All the demands of the outside world to quiet all that stuff down. That's the struggle we go through. After that, everything happens naturally. It will naturally progress and bloom and grow and glean and move. And it's such a beautiful thing. And oh my gosh, and everybody, there's no one excluded. No one. This is an everybody thing, but it also at the same time, sovereignty. So it's choice. It's always a choice. We choose. And if we're looking, we will find. Just be patient and love every moment of your each step of every
Yeah.
day.
Hmm.
Yeah. Can I add something there?
Yeah.
Michelle, that blank piece of paper, that really, I don't remember how long ago it's been that I heard you say that the first time, but that was really a turning point for me to just concentrate on that blank piece of paper. I just wanted to throw that in. Thank you for that.
Uh, hey, anything that I get, I don't take credit for because I think it comes out of the Akashic gnosis of the collection that is being stored up from all of these different realms of these beings that have blessed us with access to help us to enhance our walk. So anything that you do is from your choice and your sovereignty. If it works, if some tools in our toolbox work and we can share our tools, hey, that's great. But still, it's you that gets the pat on the back for the accomplishments that are made within every glory to glory that you make, not me. But I appreciate the compliment, sweetheart. You're such a love.
It really, it really, thank you. It really can help. Um, there may be some listening right now that might be a stepping stone for them too. Um, and I also liked uh, the ideal of just sitting down and playing your instruments preliminal.
Uh-huh.
The I do that a lot, and I spend hours in like a what I call ethereal music. It's like, and there's a lot of people playing a lot of things like that now that are just masters at it. But when I get there, sometimes I just feel like I have a heavenly audience. I don't know how to explain it. And it feels so good. I know what you're
Yeah.
talking about. It
Yeah.
just feels so good when you're at that point, and that is meditation. It certainly is.
Hmm. Yeah. You can receive an insight or an idea or a creative solution, or think of someone that you should call that you maybe haven't talked to in a long time, or things
Yeah.
around the house that need fixing, a way to rearrange your environment. Any anything that comes from your higher, the side of you that knows better is going to start to come into view as the more you stay in that walk of the righteous path, as some call it. And I mean, only you know best. You could talk to counselors and therapists, but they're only going to lead you to what they try to do is lead you to your higher intuition. Um and I think the proof is in the pudding. You notice it, when you're staying on the side of you that knows better. It shows in your life. And we're still vulnerable to all the human craziness, yet we
That's the truth. That is the truth.
yeah, we could optimize our intentions. So uh, and,
Maybe what I pulled up there, you guys, that statement he made is very powerful. There's power in what that statement that's up on the screen at this moment. I mean, there's a lot of wisdom and power in that one statement that he made.
What does that mean, though? 321 Aries. Can somebody explain that to me? I'm not a very astrological person.
I'm not
I don't
astrological
know.
myself, but it sounds to me like a countdown. Your words are powerful. What you speak will
Three,
be.
two,
Three,
Wow.
one.
2, 1. Very powerful for the rest of the year. Speak now. Stand in your truth. Walk in your truth. Talk your truth. You know, he said,
Yeah.
create your new whiteboard. Sow your seeds. The statement in itself, it's filled. It's a powerful, pungent statement right there. It's a mouthful, but it's packed with wisdom, and I would call it unlocking or activations. That anybody that could come across this statement here, that maybe they're not having breakthroughs, can read that statement and it could do like a poof within them.
Maybe we
And
should have. I'm sorry. I just had a thought.
I'm done, sweetie.
Maybe we could have Johannes come on your show
Yeah.
and we could all have call-ins to like state your truth. What is it that you want to declare right now on a certain show? You know? Did that make sense? Like for me, I would
Yes.
say the countdown from my 3, 2, 1 is to play at Carnegie Hall with Alan Jackson in his band, you know? Anybody know who Alan Jackson is?
Is he a jazz musician?
No, he's country. He's
Oh,
pure
okay.
country.
Okay.
But he's got some gorgeous songs and he writes all of his music. I just want to play
That would be
Carnegie Hall.
awesome. If you play at Carnegie Hall, you can invite all of us to
You betcha. Hey.
take a bus out there.
I know where the back door is.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
I'm gonna already be in the VIP room because my declaration will be that I write the songs for him.
All right, I got it. I love it. I love it. Okay, see, we need to have that kind of a night, Michelle. And you and Johannes could lead us.
And this is what Up and Share is all about, sweetheart.
A
I'll play some.
countdown.
I'll play some xylophone and some toms.
We'll just put our own band together. Okay.
We'll call it the
I think
pre-awake.
Doc Michael. Well, thank y'all for letting me join in. I guess talking about the Akashic Records place, it just sparked that thought in me, and I'm thankful for that. Thank you for letting me come on.
Anytime,
Sure.
anytime. Hello.
Okay.
Nice talking to
Michelle
you.
Thank you.
Michelle is also a musician, if I remember right.
No.
No? Oh.
No, I know. I am a lover of music. I have a very good ear, but
Oh, okay.
I love music and I love art.
Mhm.
But I don't. I'm not going to limit myself because I don't think that there's anything that we really cannot do. It's just right now my passion lies in other things. We follow our passion, and my passion right now is to get closer and closer, to God. Now, will I ever go and meet God face to face? Infinite and unlimited? Don't think so. But my passion right now is to get closer and closer to the Creator. So, and with that, so has the expansion of the consciousness and the events and the traveling and the things I've seen. And, I'm still trying to, figure out what the heck were these shoes all about? What are these, these new shoes that looked way too big for me. But then he stood up and he was big. Told me, put them on.
did you-
I put them on. They
were
fit
you-
perfect. It was crazy.
Did you work at an
Wow.
office as a counselor for a while?
No. I started off with restaurant management,
Okay.
and then I got my degree and worked for a law firm for a while.
Hmm.
Then was office manager, and then I worked for a government on the nonprofit federal grants side as an
Oh wow.
accountant, and then I was a notary public for a while,
Oh,
and
okay.
so and now I do BQH. I try to do whatever I can after
Yeah.
the crash.
You're you're
uh,
you're super smart. I mean, you have both sides of you have the left side and the right side of your mind both.
I was too heavy on the left. It was really hard to make that jump over
Mhm.
to get the balance. It really was. I had a difficult time because of the
I
analytical mind was in my way.
I'm
But if I
impressed
could overcome it,
because I didn't see you as an accountant or yeah. I mean that's like how my mom is. She has that side of it.
yeah,
She can do all that
very
kind of
left.
stuff.
Yeah, I do taxes and stuff for people up to today. So I have that
Mhm.
left brain thing, and it was a hurdle. But in all things in balance, when we come into harmony and in balance, things just flow naturally.
Mhm.
And that goes for even polarization, don't not good, not evil, but in the center. When we center ourselves and we're walking in balance and not judging or gapping
Yeah.
but we're also standing with our sovereignty and understanding if we're being treated with love and as an equal by somebody, or if we're being trodden down or bullied, to make the decision and to love ourselves enough to walk away harmoniously without conflict, and to love that person completely and
Mhm.
unconditionally, but to love ourselves enough to walk away from situations that are unhealthy for us, or that could hold us back, or have us hold within us ill feelings, which cause disharmony, which cause disease or blockages, or things that makes it harder for us to punch through the glass ceiling because of
Right.
what we're holding inside in our energy. Energy is a constant exchange, it's a flow. We're constantly exchanging energy always through our intentions. It's
Wow.
beautiful.
Well, thank you for having me on as well. Awake and Activate. Nice talking to you again, Pre, and nice to meet you, JJ.
Yes, I am about to zip it up, and you guys have
Hey,
been an awesome panel. Please, before you guys all pop out, um, your final words, drop your link in the chat, and then
yeah.
JJ, and then
Yeah.
propagate, and then I'll sew it up, and we'll end her off.
I was going to say to propagate. I think he could also be a great counselor, and Michelle too. If I think you could help people as a professional. I mean, it's maybe something you never wanted to do. I don't know. I just thought maybe you would be good at that, like a school counselor or people going through whatever crisis. Maybe that's just not
I think
um,
isn't that part of like being in a ministry,
uh-huh.
but it's more along the lines though of helping people discover themselves.
Yeah.
So even
I
though we
mean,
wear different hats at different times, it's still it's all balance, and it's all in total balance and equality. Yeah.
Well,
I'm trying to, I wish I could be like an art therapist or have some kind of art, like a art community building that, us for artists to, where I have no, I feel like I have no, profession. I feel lost in the, I have no practical job, except I've, always worked at restaurants and grocery stores and organic co-ops, and this I
Creative.
feel it's a very yeah. I'm tuning in for. I mean, I it's been a strange 5 years, so I'm just you're right, creative. I
Well,
appreciate the show, and Thanks for letting me talk. I don't really talk to many people in my actual life, so it helps just to communicate.
Make sure you
Thank you.
drop your link, sweetie.
Okay.
We love you.
Love you.
Love
Peace.
you. I love you.
Well, I
Y'all
definitely
remember
appreciate
that.
the kind words. Okay, go
Yeah.
ahead, JJ. I'm sorry.
No,
You
Propagate,
first.
you're next. JJ's last. She just needs to stay in
Okay.
order.
I need to practice patience.
It's all good. Pre, thank you for the kind words. I have done that type of work before, just in as a what do you call it, personal relationships. And yeah, thank you to everybody. Thank you for people in the chat reaching out as well. Appreciate it.
Make sure you drop your link. You guys, here, I'll just go ahead and help you guys leave. Drop your link, please, in the chat as we're ending it, so that way people will have it again. I know you dropped it earlier, but do it again, please.
Got it.
And then there was 2.
So it's my turn yet?
It's your turn, sweetie.
I'm not really a talker either. I always find that it's better if I write everything down that I intend to say. But I'm trying to get away from that. I'm trying to be more of a open your mind, open your heart, and share kind of person. I've always done that through my music. I hoped I did that through my music. And I don't really have a lot of friends, either preliminal or people that I talk to in my personal life. So I just wanted to say thanks for letting me come on and share tonight, ask questions and everything that we did. I've been on this channel, on Michelle's channel, since way back when, just growing and learning. And I think the same thing for you, preliminal, that if you have a desire in your heart that you are the creator, that you can create with the creator, and I'll put that in quotation marks. If it's something that you feel you want to do art therapy, whatever that entails, you can do it. And I want to encourage you to do it. Go for it. Thanks. Good night. As we go towards Easter, y'all keep that first part of Easter in all of your thoughts as ease. Easter with ease. Okay? Good
Well
night.
said. Thank you, JJ. And with that, you guys, we had yet again, let me stop this. Another wonderful, powerful share stream with everybody coming on and sharing, gleaning, and growing together. Because after all, you guys, that's what it's about. We're in this love together. We're in this life together. And I cannot wait until the next time I hear from JJ, where she's able to remember her dreams and share, and where I can glean and grow, because we are growing together. All for one and one for all. Remember, you're a sovereign, unique being, one of a kind, but still all part of one. Wrap our minds around that, and we will get somewhere. Have yourself a blessed night, and remember to share what you know. Listen so we can grow. I love you all so much. Have a good evening. Peace. Oh, like, share, and subscribe.